Hello, and welcome to the explanation of a new problem. So, in this video, we are going to understand the question number 4 of LeetCode Contest 242, Stone Game 8. So, there have been like 7 stone games before this question, and I would advise you to go through them because they are very interesting questions, right? It's not a prerequisite per se, but they are very interesting questions, and I would like you guys to solve them too. Anyways, moving on. So, this is the 8th variation of the stone game. And before we begin, let me just tell you one thing. This question is a prime example of how a simple problem can be twisted and made into a hard problem, right? Uh, in reality, what we are going to do in the later stage of this video, we are going to reduce this problem into some simpler problem, and then we are going to solve that simple problem itself, right? But before we do, let us understand this question. So, uh, Alice and Bob, there are two protagonists in this question. They are playing a game, right? And the game is that they have some stones with them, and the stones are given in the form of an array, right? So in each turn, what Alice and Bob they can do is they can select an ith index, uh, or let's say they can select an integer x, right, which should be greater than one. It cannot be one. Basically, it should be something greater than one. They have to select that integer x, and they have to take out those x number of stones from the left hand side of this array. So let's say that Alice is starting first. Alice always starts first, right? And she selects an integer, let's say 3. So she'll take out -1, 2, and -3, right? So these are the stones that she has taken out, and her score is the sum of the integers that represent these three stones. So that would be -3, -1, 4, +2, -2. So her score is -2, right? And now what she's going to do is she is going to put back -2 in this array, and this array will then become -2, 4, and -2. Same way, Bob is also going to select some stones, right? And he'll also gain some score. So this is how they are playing the game, right? Now, what's the game's objective? So the game has a very clear objective. Alice and Bob, both of them want to maximize sorry, Alice wants to maximize the difference between their score, which is Alice's score minus Bob's score, and Bob's goal is to minimize the score difference. Or in other way, if I try to rephrase this sentence in a much simpler way that you will understand, both Alice and Bob are trying to get the maximum value. Why? Because if Bob gets the maximum value, then this difference will be minimized. And if Alice gets the maximum value, then this difference will be maximized, right? So both of them are trying to get, the maximum value out of this array. And we have to assume that they're going to play optimally, right? Okay. So let's go over this example. In this example, what Alice will do is she'll remove the first four stones to get a score of 2, right? I don't think you can get a higher score before selecting any of these, right? Because -1 will give you -1, -1 plus 2 will give you 1. This we have already discussed gives you -2. So obviously this was giving 2 and Alice selected 2 to get a better score, right? Now she inserted 2 back over in her array. So the array is now 2 and -5. Now, Bob has to definitely select both these stones because it's not like he can select one stone, right? It is given to us that each player will have to select more than one stone. So Bob selects 2 and -5, and his score is -3. And earlier, Alice's score was 2. So 2 minus of -3 will give us 5, and the difference between their score is maximized, right? You would not get any other value from maximum value from over here. So let's try to break down this problem, or shall I say reduce this problem into a much simpler version of it. Basically, we are given, like, let's say we have 5 numbers in our array, A, B, C, D, E, right? And it was better earlier. Okay, so we have A, B, C, D, E. So what basically, let's say Alice is doing is she selects, let's say 3, right? So she adds a plus b plus c in her score, and then she creates a stone, or matlab, she has a stone which in whose integer is represented by the sum of a plus b plus c, and she inserts it back into the array. Right. Now let's say Bob comes. Right. Bob is excited to play, and what he does is he let me represent this by x. Okay. So you have xde, and he says that I'm going to take out two stones, and what he does is x plus b comma e, and his score now becomes x plus e. Now, if you notice one very important thing, it is that x actually is a plus b plus c itself, right? So basically what Bob did was he took a score of a plus b plus c plus d comma e. So this is the final array now. So at no point can you get a value which cannot be represented by a, b, c, d, e, or let me say elements of that particular stone array. So what this tells us is no matter who the player is, what they're always going to do is they're going to take the prefix sum from the index that they select, right? So Alice comes, she says that I'm going to select this index over here, and what her score would be, her score would be the prefix sum till this point, and that is exactly the stone that she's going to replace the array with, these four stones with one stone, and that will be the cumulative sum a plus b plus c plus d, right? So basically now what we have done is we have broken down our problem into just a second. So now what they have what we have done is we have reduced our problem into the simple fact that we have a kind of like a cumulative sum array, a, a plus b, a plus b plus c, a plus b plus c plus d, and a plus b plus c plus b plus e. This is the array, and and a player can select any one value from this. And the restriction over the second player is that he'll have to select a value which is on the right hand side of the value selected by the first player. So if the first player or Alice selects a plus b plus c plus d, then Bob has to select this value. So one another thing that we can notice from here is we don't need this A because we cannot just select one stone. Definitely we'll have to at least select two stones because the value of X given to us in the question is greater than one, right? So a single stone selection is not possible. So now we are dealing with the this array over here. Perfect. So one thing that you could have thought by now is that what if we maintain a DP I, where this DPI would represent the maximum score difference that you can get till a point I, right? Or we shall say the maximum difference between the score that you have made, right? That will be given to us by DPI, and we apply the condition that we are playing optimally, right? So we are selecting the maximum values over here with us. But actually building this TP and then running a loop over this array simultaneously, that would give us a complexity of n squared. This method is simple. You just iterate over and maintain your DP, find the max value, play both the plays optimally. But the issue is that this will take an n square time complexity. So this is not something that we can actually do because the constraints of the question, I think they're in the range of 10 to the power 5. Let me just confirm. Yep, 10 to the power 5. And n square would give us 10 to the power 10, and hence you will get a TLE definitely. So even if you, yeah, that's the case. Okay, so how do we optimize this now? Right? How the question is, how do we optimize it? Okay, let me just draw it completely. Or let me take a example this time. With me, I'll take this. I think first example is good enough to implement. So we have -1, we have 2, we have -3, 4, -5. I think the sum array that I was talking about, we would get it as 1, comma -2, comma 2, comma -3. Fine. So just a tip for you guys over here, if you are using C++, then there's a function, I guess, called partial sum, which will directly calculate this for you. You don't have to actually apply a for loop. And if you're using Python, accumulate. Yeah, this function will do this job for you, and this function will do this job for you. This is for C++, and this is for Python, right? I am not sure about Java. I am not, and like I'm not a very hard-coded programmer in Java as of now. But I know about these two functions, so these two are something that you can easily apply. Let me just rewrite it all over again. So we had 1, we had -2, we had 2, and we had -3. Now, see, the thing is, very interesting to note. This is why I was saying that we can reduce this hard problem into a much simpler one. If you traverse from the backside of this array, you'll notice one very important thing. The second player, the value that he's selecting, they ought to be on the right hand side, right? They ought to be on the right hand side. So we iterate from the right hand side and we give him a value and we name it answer, right? We have given him the value. Now we have to select a value over this area such that the difference between this answer and the value that we select is maximum. See, we have basically two choices. Or let me just discuss the choices later. The point is, this is a cumulative sum, and the player can select this value, and the other player will have to select the leftover value from the right hand side, right? So value selection too we have already done. We have taken the cumulative sum with us, and we are iterating on that itself. Now what I'm saying is, we iterate from the right hand side, and we select one value and name it answer. And basically, we have two choices, either or. I think the choices can be explored better from the left hand side itself. When a particular player selects this value, this other player has two choices. Either he'll select the cumulative sum till its next index, or some other index ahead of it, ahead of himself, right? Two choices. Either you select the very next one, or you select something else. And these are the kind of the two choices that we're going to explore from the right hand side, basically, right? These are the choices that we're going to explore from the right hand side. Um, so we had over here, we were going to from the right hand side, we selected this answer, right? And now we can select any one of these values, which just we have to make sure that the difference between them is maximum. So answer, sorry, my A is a little bad. Answer would basically be max of any new number that you are iterating over, like either it's 2 or -2 or 1. Let me say it's num minus answer. This will give us the new value, or the previous answer was the max itself. So either that can be the answer, or we can gain a new greater difference between the value or the cumulative sum selected by, let's say, Alice, and the one that would have been chosen by Bob, right? So either this new difference would be maximum, or the old difference would be maximum in itself, and whatever is max, we'll put that inside our answer. Right. Now, so see, earlier I told you that the DP that which we were maintaining from the left-hand side would have given you time limit exceeded, because of the simple reason that it would have been maintained in n square. So now what you could ask me is that, or something that might have already crossed your mind is that, what if we were maintaining the DP from the left-hand side itself? In that case, just a second. Okay. So I'm not working. Mm, just give me a second. Sorry, my pen stopped working. Just give me a second. So what I was saying was that maybe another question that would have come into your mind now is that, sir, what if we maintain the DP from the left-hand side itself? In that case, a single DP I element would give us the maximum score difference for the second player, right? That's true. You can definitely do this, and this would give you a time complexity of ON, right? uh Method would be same. You will be simply storing, I think if this is DPI, then you will be finding max between DPI comma, um it was answer minus num, right? So the cumulative, let's say you have a cumulative some array such as this, CUMM or let me say accumulated, right? And then your other answer would be dpi minus accum I minus 1, because I don't remember the cumulative something that I had with me. Let me just say it's 1 minus 2, 2 and 3. So if you are finding for this, you'll subtract from the previous one, hence I minus 1, right? Okay. I just want to make sure if I have. Yeah, I think this is correct. Okay. So yeah, you can definitely apply this method. You just, use a helper function, let's say helper, which is helping you maintain the recursion, and you can calculate the DPI values, and the max of this will give you the final answer. In this case, actually, what will happen is your space complexity. Let me use a different pen. Your space complexity would become ON because you're maintaining a DP of size n, right? Basically, it's of size n. Yeah. There's another way, right? Now, in this way, what you're doing is you're reduced. What we have done till now is we have reduced our n square to n, but at the cost of the fact that our space complexity is still O of n. Now, the method that I'm going to actually give you the pseudocode for is the method where you don't even have to maintain the DP, right? Actually, what at each point you are basically doing is you are storing the answer and the difference of answer and the new number that you're iterating over from the back side, from the right hand side of this accumulated array, right? So tell me, why do you need a DP? There's no need for a DP, right? Basically, you can, like I mentioned earlier, also just take an answer variable and then find the answer max between them. You don't need a tabulation. You don't need anything to give you the max score difference of the second player with you. I mean, yeah, you can maintain this. Yeah, this will also give you the final result, and the answer would definitely be correct. But there's no need, right? You can just simply maintain an answer variable. So let me just rub this all. And what we're going to do is we're going to discuss the pseudocode a little bit. So that I think, yeah, pseudocode would be enough for you guys. Explanation is done. Why we reduce the complexity is done, and how this question was reduced from a hard to a simple problem is done. So yeah, let's discuss the pseudocode. Let me just see that. Okay, so their function name is stone name, the problem name, and the array they are using is stones. Okay. Fine. So, okay, I think I'll also maintain something like that itself. Um, so let's say I'm not writing the function name, I'm writing just func, and you have been given the stones array, right? So what would be your first step? Your first step would be to find that cumulative sum array, right? And I have told you that you can, if you're C++ plus user, you can use the partial sum, and if you're Python user, you can use accumulate. So I'm just gonna write find accumulate. Not sure about the spelling over here. I think it's a U. I think earlier I wrote A, but I think it's a U. Anyways, so I'm just writing your first step would be to find the accumulate, and let's say that you are storing it back inside the stones array itself, right? So now instead of your stone array being this -1, 2, -3, 4, -5, it was the one that we found earlier in this example, which would be -1 plus 2, 1, then or whatever it was. I'm not calculating it again, right? You have, let's assume you have found the accumulated sum. Now what your job is, like I said, uh, you have to ignore the first one, right? Let me add it itself. I think that will make it easier. So -1, then 2 minus 1, 1, then it was give us yeah, -1, 1, -2, 2, -3, right? And we don't have to actually consider this one. So yeah. So when you're writing the code, make sure that, yeah, either you reverse this and then begin from the start, or if you don't reverse this, just make sure that the for loop that you're going to begin, the let me change the pen back. The for loop that you're going to use over here will actually begin from n minus 2, right? And it will go till the start of the array. And you'll do, let's say this was an I loop, so I minus minus, right? Which begins from I n minus 2 to 0 and I minus minus. Minus 2 or minus 1? Yeah, minus 2. Okay. So at each point, uh, simply what you are going to do is, let's say you had a result variable with you which was 0, then your answer would be, or I think that in the result, you let's put this minus 1, right? So in the result, put the last element from this array that you have got from the or the first element, right? After reversal, last element, before reversal first. So basically, yeah, starting from n minus 2 till I, what we're going to do is result will be max of simply result, comma, the array that you have, st, let me shift the page, the array that you have, stones I minus the result, right? That's it. That's our entire code. And at the end of this, what you're going to do is simply return result. So see, like I told in the start of this video, this question is the prime example of the fact that how a simple question can be twisted into, and added details to it and make it a hard question. All you need to have is the eye to reduce such a big and tough question into something which is much easier. And as you can see, it's right in front of you. The code is so small. I mean, first step, initialization of for loop, main step, and then return. I mean, I won't call it even a 2-line code, right? So I hope this explanation was clear to you. I hope the reduction of the hard problem into a simple one was clear. I hope it was clear why we actually use this accumulated array, because like I mentioned, that a plus b explanation, like I mentioned, at each point of the time, a player is definitely always going to pick the prefix sum of the index that he has selected or the x that he has selected, right? And since maintaining this DP from the front would have given a complexity of n squared, what we decided to do was we went and approached the problem from the array from the right hand side, because we have only two choices with us in the accumulated array. If the player chooses, let's say the first player is Alice, is selecting this value over here, Bob has only the option of going till here or till here, right? So let's lock Bob and say that his answer is -3, and we'll have to figure out what Alice would have selected to get the maximum difference, right? And that way, and this max will actually, this result will give us the final answer. So I hope this explanation was clear, the pseudocode is clear, and you are perfectly equipped to try it on your own, right? Thank you.